Hey, my lovely, lovely, wonderful, beautiful, handsome people. A pleasant Sunday afternoon to you. If you have not yet made Jesus Christ your personal Lord and Savior, now is the opportune time to do so. Don't be late. Do it today. Do it now. Make it a date. All right. And that would be the best decision you could ever make. All right, beautiful people. Let me get into it. So I'm looking in the Sunday's Gleaner. And this is a guest columnist, Christopher Burgess. Avoiding Vulnerabilities in Recovery is his title. And he's saying Hurricane Melissa revealed that Jamaica's weakness is not only fragile coordination, but fragile infrastructure. Oh, we know that. Empathy and equity must remain at the heart of the recovery process. As Jamaica moves past the response phase and enters early assessment and recovery, we must focus on rebuilding stronger communities rather than repeating past vulnerabilities. The challenge is balancing the urgency of recovery with smarter rebuilding before the next storm. Because let us face it, beautiful people, another storm can happen. And we just hope and pray that, boy, the West couldn't take it. Boy, and those of us in the East, boy, we shudder that thought. We shudder that thought. We don't even want to think about it. The 2026 hurricane season is already projected to be intense under La Nina conditions. Rebuilding roofs, communicating the building code requirements, strengthening water systems, and embedding electrical poles deeper will be essential. Otherwise, we will be replacing old vulnerabilities with future vulnerabilities. I'm agreeing with that, man. A lot of the houses, you see the zinc roof, and no, I understand what people are saying, that people can't afford it, and they can't. It's not like they can slowly stall because we live in a tropical island with rains at any time. And also the sun just coming in. So either of the two conditions can really create problems. You understand what I'm saying? So in other words, you can't just say, okay, you're going to slowly when you get enough money, you buy the material that will give you a more formidable roof. Because, it makes no sense that you don't have something to cover. What I would say is, in the interim, fine if you have the zinc over it, but what you need to do my suggestion is this, that every money that you get, you put towards getting the material to get a solidified roof, whether slabbed, or I don't know the other types that are good. I've seen them with the shingles and with whatnot. I don't know the name of it. It is better to be build your house upon the rock than to build your house upon the sand, because it makes no sense that as you build it tears down. There were several people that came on the news that stated at different points and at different intervals that they built up. This is the third time that the house that they built up was torn down completely. And some of them were not in the dead hurricane. It was just some wind and rain with a storm, or so maybe there was a storm surge, and it just couldn't manage. And it just tore the house down, tore the houses down. A few times I've seen that on the news. So that would be the best thing. Fine, you go with something to cover you in the interim quickly, but whatever you get, every money that you get the best material so that you can solidify the roof. Because it's going to be ridiculous to build up back these places, and then let us say another hurricane comes and it starts back. They say, where you think the world, these different countries will be able to have the same wherewithal to give to us in droves like that? Darker than your supper. We can only pray that God doesn't allow something like this to happen to us again. Rapid roofing, is a subheading. Rapid roofing and the use of temporary blue roofs must be a priority to move families out of cars, fair, and makeshift spaces, with 191 homes damaged and roughly 150 repairable. These households should be re-roofed as quickly as possible. Yes, and the best way, or even if you don't have the enough resources to get the best, even if you do a little pipsqueak thing, try and see if you can save towards our big borrow. Make sure you pay to get something and not steal. It's not big borrow and steal. Big borrow, certainly not stealing. To get the good item or material required to have a solidified roof. You have to make that in. You have to make that sacrifice. And trust me, where there is a will, there is a way. And the widespread of roof failures reflect a decade of weak construction shaped by poverty, which we said, where 8-inch rafters become 4-inch. Hurricane straps are replaced by empty block pockets. These shortcuts cannot withstand a moderate category. Moderate, you call it? Category 3 and upwards is a dangerous hurricane. You know that their houses were still affected from the 1988 Hurricane Gilbert, which was a category 3 that created a lot of mayhem. And that was so category 3 and upwards. It's a horrible, dangerous hurricane. So when you say moderate, it's not moderate. It's advanced. Move from moderate to advanced. Moderate is category 2. So, like Beryl, Jamaica must correct these vulnerabilities now with inspections by brigades of building inspectors. Some engineered timber roofs performed flawlessly in Melissa's category 5 wins. Their strength came from proper fastening of rafters, spaced 24 inches or less, rafter sizes greater than 4 inches, well-anchored wall plates, and hurricane straps. I also saw this firsthand in Luana and the 3 Trelawney housing schemes built by the same developer. Government should assist households that cannot restart repairs on their own by providing roofing kits and technical guidance at roughly USD $4,000 per home for lumber and sheeting. This support would cost less than $200 million. Okay. All right. So he has worked it out. Operation Pride schemes that use concrete decking, such as the Duncan's Hill, also performed well under extreme winds. Homeowners with adequate masonry structure should be supported if they wish to install decks. But stronger roofs alone cannot or will not build resilience. The foundation is widespread understanding and application of the building code, which I said. The wise man built his house upon the rock. Communicating the building code. Communities are already rebuilding with vulnerabilities. Hear that? Communities are already rebuilding with vulnerabilities. So what he's saying is the same problem is going to happen if that's the case. Young men in Belmont, Westmoreland, and Richmond Hill, in St. James, are strengthening and fixing zinc sheets to makeshift homes. More than 80% of damaged homes were not built to building code requirements that remain out of reach for many. In fairness to governments, it hasn't, whether JLP or PNP, many times I've often heard them say, do not build with this, do not build here, do not do this, and the squatters still don't listen. And then when they meet when they meet into trouble, or they come upon their come-upons, let me call it that way, they then blame government, which is unfair because they have been warned to be forearmed. Warned is to be forearmed. They have been, and some of the people say, oh, wicked, don't want them stay out. And you say, oh, Jesus, if you do, you die. If you don't, you die with people. You know? I don't remember where we're reaching this thing here. Yeah. You know, more than 8% of damaged homes were not built to building code requirements. That remains out of reach for many. Unless the government embarks on a public education campaign, resilience will remain uneven. Trust me, this, Mr. Burgess and the government has done it. I've heard them oftentimes, and people still don't listen. They still do not listen. You understand? They said, don't go here, but people are going to say, where are they going to go? They have to just, I don't know, but it makes no sense that they do otherwise. Yes, I may not have the solution, but it makes no sense that they do otherwise, and then they get more and more disenfranchised, and it gets worse every time because it can't out stubborn disobedience. It will punish you each time more worse than before, or worse than before. All right, guys. Anyway, you can read the Sunday Gleaner. You don't have to read TikTok and YouTube. Subscribe. Give me one of those lions. Yesterday was my birthday.